Today we're going to be working on decorating envelopes. These are used envelopes from the recycling bin. I have some gesso here and I'm going to start by gessoing the envelope. I love the inside of this. I've covered the windows with some masking tape to keep the clear part because I want to be able to see through it when I'm done. Basically, I just want to cover up these spots and then we're going to start decorating them. So how I'm going to do that is I have this key card here and I'm just going to spread with the key card. So I'm going to lay down some gesso just like this on these, and I'm going to spread with my key card. So it won't be perfect. It will still probably show through, as you can see here. And I'm not too sad about that because sometimes I think those add nice elements. So this is exactly what I'm going to do to all these envelopes here. I'm going to cut these down so that they fit in my journal properly and re-glue them a little bit. What are these envelopes going to be for? Well, I wrote a letter to myself that maybe you don't want people to find your letters in your art journals, but you want to keep them in there. I'm going to let these dry and I'll be back. I've taped the 3 envelopes together just with some masking tape to make it like a big piece of paper. I'm going to ignore these spots that are taped off because like really we're just going to peel those up. I have my Posca pens. So I was going to start just making marks just to begin with, get something on my paper. What I really wanted though was this brush tip one because I was perplexed by this. So this has a little cap at the end that you push to get the paint out. So my next layer is going to be paint. I have this turquoise, this blue, this very bright yellow, a little bit of red, and some white to mix with some of these others. My next steps are going to be to take some of this. I like to lighten them up just a little bit sometimes. And I'm just using my palette knife and I'm just spreading some paint anywhere, basically, with no rhyme or reason. And that's it. I like this blue color, so I'm going to take a little of that. I'm going to try to mix that up. And this isn't about perfection. Basically, I'm just rubbing off my paint here. And I'm going to go for the littlest amounts of red here. Now, letting this dry in between matters as far as not making mud goes. Now, there's still some orange on my sprayer, but I think I'm going to like how that comes out. And let's see how this one comes out. Okay, everyone. These are my envelopes as they stand now. One of the hazards of making videos is some of this didn't come out on video, mostly because the operator didn't push start at the right time. If I could tell you how many times this has happened to me. So these are 3 envelopes all stuck together. I'm going to peel them apart now. So this, I used masking tape, and sometimes masking tape is a little stickier than you think and it pulls up your paper, but this one seems to be okay. So this is the one that I envisioned using, but I'm going to still pull these apart. This is a page I did a few weeks ago, and this was one I did recently. Now this stuck here, so this is going to rip, which I'm going to try not to let it do. If you peel it really back on itself, the masking tape, sometimes it prevents that from happening. But I'm not going to worry about this. That's fixable. I could put paper over the back of it or something if this is what I decide to use. I don't feel like these are finished, but I just wanted to get to the point of where I could show you what I was going to consider doing. Now, this is just gray on the inside. It doesn't really matter because I had some paper I wanted to have show through the window. Maybe this, or maybe this. This came from one of those books. It's quite old, so I'm not really sure if you could find it still, but I'll try to remember to link it below so that if you can find it. Now, this is really stuck here. No, maybe not too bad. So this is how I masked off the window so that would stay clear. And yes, it's going to pull up some of the paint, some of what I painted. I'm okay with that. I'm going to save this over here in case I want to work more and mask this. I'm just going to cut this in half here. So it would show through this window here. That's all I wanted. Now the question is, my original plan was to use this one because it doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do is going to cover this up anyhow, but I loved the inside of this envelope. So I just thought that this netting looked very cool coming through the envelope. So what I wanted to do was to create take my letter and put my letter inside and seal this up. So I have very many choices here that I could do. So I'm going to seal this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to cut it down a little bit so it fits here. This is meant as a secret compartment to keep things private, basically is what it is. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of eyeball this. I want it a little bit shorter than my book. Okay, so I have a plan. So now I'm going to take my cutting board and just trim off my trim board. And I'm just going to trim off this part here. I want this to be private, so I want it to be, say it's a letter about something I've been feeling recently or how I've been feeling. It's about something I've been going through, and I don't want anyone else to come into my journals and read it. So I'm going to seal my letter in here, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to just cut this to size and stick that behind there. I'm going to find my letter, and I'm going to seal the whole thing up and then show you how I'm going to put it in my journal. Now I have this fake writing in here that looks like writing. It's not real writing. It's the one we did a few weeks ago. And all I'm going to do, well, here's my letter. I'm going to stick my letter to myself. This letter's to my future self about how I handled my recent situation. And I'm going to take this little glue applicator. So I don't want to get it too close to the edge because I don't want it to seep out onto my journal. I want it to stay here. And I want this to seal, so I'm going to leave that like that. This shouldn't take too long to set up. Then I'm going to take this, and I am going to seal it shut with some tape, some masking tape. There's a number of ways you could do it. I mean, you could use washi tape and go over both sides. Now, the reason why I'm doing it this way is I'm going to show you. Because I'm going to take some washi tape and I'm going to kind of make it like a flap. So now this side is sealed and this side is sealed. You could paint this side up. I wanted to stick it in this way. But I also would want to decorate this side. In terms of decoration, I could glue some collage over here, which I think that's really a good idea. Or I could just use some paint. If I come across a piece that's lifted like that, I will sometimes just tear it right off. So how you can do this. So you can find your favorite washi tape, which could be something like this. This is a nice wide one. Oh, I'm just going to trim that. So all I'm going to do is make sure I get that edge down. Now some washi tape is a little stickier than others. Some isn't all that sticky. You have to be careful. You might have to use glue on some of it. And I can never tell until I do it what is what is going to hold and what isn't going to hold. So all I'm going to do is stick this in this book like this. And then I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to cut another piece about as long as that one. And basically I'm going to hinge this. Again, going over maybe half of the amount of washi tape. This is a thicker one, so this isn't as hard to do. And basically now you've made a hinge. And there, you're writing to yourself as safe and sound in this envelope. Now, somebody would have to work hard at prying this apart to get in there. But again, you could put another piece of washi tape over this edge and flip it over. And you could easily paint, decorate, or collage this back side. Any of those things would work. I just haven't gotten there yet. If you had a black pen, you could go around these. You could get a white pen. That's how I could cover up that mistake a little bit. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You can keep going, keep adding paint, keep painting, keep whatever. Now, this is busy for me. This is busy. So, you know, do you add some white in here? You know, I'm thinking about how I can come it to my eyes. Again, if we look at this washi tape and we don't like this, you could think of something else to use for washi tape. I kind of felt like this bridged this for me. And what I was going to do on this page, I'm not sure. But you can paint over this as well. So, I mean, you don't have to leave it like this. This is, you know, I could take some white paint over top of it. Okay, I am going to leave this for now and check back on it later and decide if I want to add some more things to it. But for now, I'm going to call this done.